Hey, welcome to Bikes, Boats, and Bivouacs. Today we're going to look at the Roadtrippers planning program that I use when I map out my longer trips. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the program Roadtrippers to come up with a trip that I'm considering. I have several trips here that you can see that I've created, and I'll pick one just to show you what it looks like. I'll pick this short trip. This is our Thousand Islands, Vermont, Rhode Island trip. So I'm going to click on that trip, and here you can see it has it laid out. So what I do is I put in my start point, I put in my end point where I plan on going, and then I can fill the route in by searching for various places, campgrounds, whatever I want to search for. And you'll see up here in this bar, I can search for places to camp, I can look at sites and attractions, things to do in the outdoors, where I could overnight park in the RV if I want, where I'm going to eat. If I did want a hotel or a motel, if I didn't have the camper with, I could use that. What kind of activities and experiences are along the route. And I can also put in the fuel stops. Now my camper is 25 feet, so I don't have that much difficulty trying to find a place to get gas. But if I'm traveling in a caravan and we need lots of space, then we have to be more conscious of where we're going to stop. And they also have shopping and sports and wellness. So in this particular trip, if I wanted to look for campgrounds, I would click on this button. And then on the sidebar over here, you can see it lays out the trips of where I'm going to be. So let's say I wanted to add a campground along this route up to New York. I could click on campgrounds, and it's going to list all those places along the route that I could choose. So if I wanted to stay at Yogi Bear Yellowstone Camp Resort, I can click on that one, and I can take a look at it, or I can add it directly to my trip. So if I add it to my trip, it's going to automatically put it in sequence, and you can see it changed it to the number one stop and then moves all the other ones to the appropriate number. So now I've just added that trip, and it's over on this side. And if I want to look at that campground, I can click on it, and it's going to give me the details of where it's located. It's in Endicott, New York. I can put in my arrival date, I can set the budget, I can custom name this if I wanted to, or if I change my mind, I can just simply remove it. And if I click on this, you can see I go to their main site here, and it's going to show us information about it, whether I want their web page, their Facebook page, or I want to email them, what the hours of the office are. So I'm just going to click on the web page, and you can see by clicking that, it takes me right to the web page of the campground that I'm looking at. I can look at the attractions, I can look at the activities they have to do, I can click on ways to stay, and I can book it if I want to. So I clicked on ways to stay, and here you can see they have covered wagons, yurts, glamping tents, RV sites, RV rental, tent sites, and cabins. So I could select RV site, and now I can check out the rates on what they would charge me once I put dates in here. So I'm just going to arbitrarily pick a date. I'll pick Thursday the 2nd. I'm going to check out on the 9th and search for it. And then on their website, of course, it'll show me the different options. There's an RV rental, there's a rental with bunks, there's a cabin, there's the luxury wagon rental, there's a yurt, bare bones cabin that doesn't have much but sleeping in there. the covered wagon, the glamping tent, and now we get down to sites. And you can see here's a 50 amp full hookup RV site. That's $92 per night with all the fees, and it can be up to 69 feet. Here's a full hookup site with water and RVs, and that is at $87. And then this is the site that I would probably choose, a 30 amp full hookup at $77. Or if I wanted to be on the lake, they have electric and water sites on the lake. Same price, but you get the lake view as you give up the sewer for the lakefront view. But they do have a honey dipper service that will come and empty your tanks. So if I was going to stay all week, I'd probably pick the full hookup one. If I'm just there a day or two, maybe I want to look at the site that is right on the lake. And then you could also view it on the map to see where the sites are. So at Jellystone, these would be the various sites, and you could click right on that if that's the site that you wanted. So this program really helps us figure out, how to route a trip. And they do have something new on the program. Here you see try autopilot. This will create a trip for you. So if I would click on this icon, you can see we can create a trip in here. Let me start over. I could put in my starting point, and I could put in my ending point. Let's say I wanted to go to Branson, Missouri, and I want it to be a round trip. It's going to ask me a series of questions, and it's going to create the route for me through artificial intelligence. So again, we could pick the dates that we wanted. Let's say we're going 3rd to the 16th. It's going to ask me my vehicles, because this will also, when you have this downloaded onto your phone, it will also have a nav feature that'll keep you out of trouble height-wise, to make sure you don't go over bridges or something like that. So I have my camper in here and my truck in here, and the appropriate dimensions. And then I can click, I got a couple people going. If I have any kids, here's the dog. I'm going to add the dog in. And then you can choose the accommodations. So I would want RV friendly. And where do I want to eat? I can eat at the most popular spaces. I can eat at the most popular places. I can eat at diners and burger spots, or quick bites, or restaurants, or just leave it as the most popular. And I could set the budget range, right? So if I'm budget conscious, maybe I bring it down to there. So now it's only going to pick restaurants in the cheap range. If I want it to be a little more, I could choose that spot. And now what kind of activities do we want to do? Well, do I want the most popular activities that all the tourists are doing? Do I want just family friendly? Kind of the adult stuff that doesn't include kids, or maybe some outdoor and adventure related activities. So I could play around with this and decide which one I wanted to do. I'll leave it at most popular for now. And now it'll generate your trip. Now this autopilot is just being put out now, rolled out now, and being tested. So sometimes it won't generate your trip right away. So we'll try it, but I suspect it's not going to be able to do it. See, so autopilot's having trouble. Please try again later, or contact support. So as they're building out this new idea, it doesn't quite have everything loaded into it, but it will give you, what your choices were, and then it would end up showing you what the trip would look like in Roadtrippers. Now, I haven't used that feature yet. I have continued to build the trips on my own, and I'll give you a little indication of how I do that. So what I like to do, so here's the Branson trip for instance, that I did create by myself. So here's a trip that I've created. I put in my start, I put in my finish, and then I start looking for campgrounds along the way, and then I'll lay those in there. And then I go back and I look at the things I want to perhaps do and take advantage of, and then I'll add those into the trip so I can build a trip. And I wanted to come back this lower route, and I wanted to come in this higher route up Route 80. So the way I would do that, because it would just have me going back and forth right on this main line, the most efficient way, I'll put a campground or a stop in here. So the Du Bois Treasure Lake KOA, we stayed there when we went out to Michigan. I really enjoyed that KOA, so I put that in there as a potential stop. East Harbor State Park, I've heard really good things about that, so I wanted to stop there on my way down. And then here's the Indianapolis KOA, and if you look over on the panel on the left side, it shows you the miles and the hours between each one of your stops, so that you can judge based on how much driving you really want to do. And you can see the big drive is from Indianapolis to Branson, and that's a 512 mile. It's 7 hours and 47 minutes of drive time, so that's probably going to take me, probably add an hour for gas stops and all that. So that would be the longest trip. I don't mind driving 500 miles in a day. I don't care to drive much after 3 p.m. when I'm dragging the camper. I don't like going through areas at rush hour. So I try to get off the road by 3, but I don't mind leaving at 6 in the morning. So that is kind of how I plan that. And then on the way back, you can see once I leave Branson, I'm going to hit that KOA in Illinois, and then I'm going to hit the Bark Camp State Park in Ohio on the way back, and then back to Pennsylvania. So that is how we run the Road Trippers program. And like I said, let's say I just want to look at restaurants. I can click on the restaurant icon, and it's going to bring up all the places to eat along my route. And I can scroll through them, look at them, and add them to the trip. If I wanted to look for fuel stops, I can put those in there, and you can see them. So I use this a lot, and when I'm planning my trips, one of the other programs that I use quite a bit is the KOA program. And the reason I do that is this makes it very convenient to look for those spots also, and we can put them on a map so you can see what the campground looks like that you're at, and I can book right through here. Now I am a KOA member, so I get 10% off their rates. And the way I typically use the KOAs on the travel days is the overnighters. I'm going to stay there. But over the last few years of traveling, what I realized is a lot of the KOAs, the holidays and the resorts, are really, really nice campgrounds. And I've always found at the KOAs that they are clean and operating properly. The people are friendly, and all the equipment at the campground works. It's rare that I went to a KOA and something was out of order, like washer and dryers or something like that. So I really like to use KOAs when I travel and put these trips together, especially on the route there and the route back. So I hope this introduces you to a way to start planning your longer trips, and I would encourage you to buy the program. I think it cost me about $60 a year for this program, and for me it's well worth it based on the trips that I take. I am not sponsored by Road Trippers or KOA. These are simple tools that I like to use that really help me put trips together.
Hey, if this video helped you or you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps me out a lot. Also, ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps it be seen by a wider audience. But more important than all that, Go have some fun out there. Thanks for watching.